I don't usually doom post, right? Now and again, I'll report, I guess, news, things that are going on in the space, but I tend not to, like, doom post about games in the terms of, this game is going to ES. I think this is the end for this game, so to speak, unless it really looks like it is the end. But I kind of wanted to actually do that today, I guess, in regards to Black Beacon, right? Because we all know what happened with Black Beacon, right? Terrible launch, terrible treatment of the global community, came back with rancid rewards for global, and then decided to actually make an apology, which I think itself was a fair apology, right? But was it enough? I don't think it was it? I don't think it was. I think Black Beacon, in my opinion, is going to go the way of something like Tribe 9. Now, it might last longer, right? It's not a JP dev, so they're not going to look at 1 month revenue and then just cancel the game outright. But this post here, it's just a little post, but I wanted to have a little conversation around the post, actually. And this is from There's Only One Titan in the r/Black Beacon subreddit. Should we be worried? I think you should. Honestly, I do. Like I say, I don't usually say that, but I think you should. Because, obviously, the launch was ass, right? The game's had loads of problems. Not available on emulators. Is now available on emulators. No PC client. Terrible controls for PC. Terrible performance. Fact that it still wasn't full screen after a couple of patches. I don't know if it is now in terms of on PC. You know, just lots of issues. In my opinion, a kind of crappy story. Now, that's kind of, it seems like a minority opinion. A lot of people seem to really like the story, but that's whatever, right? That's whatever. A decent gacha system, but heavily makes it so you kind of need weapons, which I guess, you know, you got guarantees, but the need for weapons for units kind of reduces that positive just a little bit. But rough launch, right? And it seems like there's not much going on post-launch as well, apart from maintenance. Like, any update just seems to be, oh, yeah, we're taking the game down for maintenance, guys. And I guess that means quality of life patches. I don't know for sure because, as I say, I've not gone back to the game. When they gave us that free character selector, I went back, got the character, and then I dipped, right? Because at the minute, I've just got no interest to play the game, right? They've not done enough for me, personally. After all that, I said, after that atrocious launch, the treatment of global, they had to come out with insane events and some, like, quality updates, right? Which they failed to do. You know, we had, like, the last time I played, there was that infinite monkey cage event, which was ass. I'm sorry, it was trash, man. It was so bad. So with the current banner due to end in a little over a week, you would think there will be a range of posts hyping up what's coming next. As a new game, they should be bursting with content to tease out. You would think that, right? You would think that. So if we obviously we go over to their page, I think they've got a tease for the next banner, which makes sense. I don't know who that is on the next banner, actually. I'm not even sure, to be fair. But, like, if you look, there's not much here, right? You know, you've just got, like, community events, a survey, which I guess is good, maintenance, or maintenance complete, the CCP, which I thought was a funny name for the content creator program. Then we've got Ching here, a winner announcement, maintenance again. The maintenance is complete. We've got a photo album, and then we've got the what is it, double drops, whatever it is, multiple rewards for the gift of fate stuff, whatever, you know, it is what it is. And then a letter to the seer, which is basically download the game, right? Buy our game, well, not buy our game, play our game, please play our game. So it's just like, even if you go over to the website, there's nothing here. It's just patch notes, which obviously, like I say, for a game that desperately needs patches, obviously, that's a positive to see patches. Of course it is, right? But, like, you need something else, right? You need something else. Counterpoint, people like Tribe 9. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's a fair point. That was a game that, for all its faults, people enjoyed the gameplay. People liked the story. People liked it in general. The little I played, I liked it. So that's a fair point, yeah. We've got to take that into context. A lot of people are not too fussed about this game. And I think even the player base that is are kind of like whatever about it anyway. I don't think I've seen a hardcore Black Beacon fan, which says a lot, right? You know? Now, I've seen people who like the game and who play the game, but it doesn't feel like it's got a core fan base, you know? I haven't seen anybody cosplaying Black Beacon characters. I haven't seen people really maining the game for content and talking about it all the time. I think this game's cooked, chat. Honestly, as I say, I don't usually do this because I feel like I feel a bit dirty doing it, right? I feel a bit dirty doing it, but I'm willing to get in the trenches here and say that I think Black Beacon's not going to be around much longer, right? I don't think it's going to stick around. And unless they do something insane, right? But I just, as a game, there's nothing that really stands out in this title, is there? And that would have been the case even if it had a perfect launch. Because it had such a bad launch, you know, I'd love to, I can't wait to see. I know the revenue reports are all bogus pretty much, like, but I still can't wait to see the rev reports for the end of the month for this, to see what's going on, right? To see what CN's doing, because without CN, you know, I just can't see this game surviving. I reckon it might not be a Tribe 9 situation. Again, it's not a JP dev that'll see that cash and be like, cut the cord right away. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, chat? I'd like to know. Post in the chat now, right? Post in the chat how long you reckon Black Beacon's got, or if you think it's going to continue on. I think it's got 12 months max. The only possible way for BB to survive is for the game to go full overdrive on fan service. Yeah, that's probably a point. Leaning, do the Snowbreak role. The thing is, Snowbreak didn't have a terrible launch either, though, but, you know, they made a business out of leaning fully into fan service, didn't they? And it worked for them. I think that's a possibility, you know? I think that's a possibility that they could maybe lean into the fan service. What a horrible year for global server service, right? Dude, that's why I thought to talk about this, because what's going on with Nikkei as well, you know? World, it's worlds. They're gonna need to go for the Snowbake strat. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think for survival. That's it, yeah, because gameplay-wise, right, it's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. It just is, right? It just is. And is fine. And fine is fine. Fine is not enough to get you to really lean into something, though, is it? You know, if you go out for somewhere to eat and you're like, it's all right, you might go back there, but it's not something you're going to recommend to your friends. You need to go eat here. If you're feeling hungry and you're nearby or you've got nowhere else to go, you might go back, you know? But you're not going to sing about it from the rooftops. And that's kind of what Black Beacon is. But it's like having a restaurant like that the food's fine, but the very first time you went in there, the owners told you you're a prick, basically, and served somebody else who was in the queue behind you before you. So the food's fine, and you got insulted, so it's like, you know? So I suppose the best way to get you back to that restaurant is maybe some titties might get you back in, aren't they? So it's fair, it's fair. Just go the brain dust path, right? Like, how many times can Snowbreak strat work? I don't know, man. People do like big titties, don't they? I suppose it's how well you do it, though, as well, right? I suppose it's how well you do it. I think the thing with Snowbreak, right, is Snowbreak lent heavily into fan service. Now, I haven't played Snowbreak for a while, right? But I think Snowbreak also came with some decent-ish updates as well, didn't he? You know, they tried different stuff for the game, right? They actually tried to progress the game along with adding in a crap ton of fan service. And, yeah, I think if you can implement it right, it can work. But at the same time, it's got diminishing returns, right? It's got diminishing returns, right? It's like every gacha this year will have at least one horrible decision on the global server. Matt, bro, like, the last month has been insane in the space. Like, it's kind of crazy how many developers have been met. Because, like, usually in the gacha space, right? Of course, you have devs doing some predatory stuff and publishers messing up. Usually, it's communities beefing with each other and community members doing crazy stuff, threatening to kill people, setting people's cars on fire, you know, arguing with each other, saying insane stuff. But recently, the communities have kind of just been chilling. They've just been a chill guy, you know, hands in the trousers, just like, yo, what's going on? And the devs have been wilding out. It's like it's the devs' turn to start wilding out, man, and just start fucking shit up. It's like the community was too relaxed, and the devs were like, yo, we can't handle this. We're not used to this, man. We're gonna mess some shit up, man. I don't enjoy seeing games EOS, but if it makes other devs wake up from this, yes, I agree as well. I agree, T. Like, because I suppose it depends how things are done, right? You know, the Tribe 9 EOS for me was sad because I think it was a game that was, you know, it had a lot of good things in it. But I think Tribe 9, we'll have to see. I think it could have, or could be potentially damaging. I think there's going to be a lot of people who were scared by Tribe 9 and thinking, new games that are coming out, is it worth even spending on this? You know, because could we see a Tribe 9? You know, we see games last 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 2 months and you get an EOS. Like, that's speed running, right? And there's going to be a lot of people, especially who spent in Tribe 9, are going to be very wary about spending in the future, which you should anyway. I think that's probably a positive lesson for players to learn, but negative for the other developers, right? Because I think it is a positive learn. You should always be sensible with how much you spend in gacha games and always treat it as you've lit money on fire, right? But I think you should always be extra careful about spending on a game straight away. Like, I don't spend on games right away. Like, I think Wuthering Waves is probably the only one that I've spent on the first month, I think. Yeah, and I bought the pass. But yeah, I typically like to wait a little bit just to see what's going to happen, especially with new games coming in from, I guess, lesser known developers. Definitely then. If it's a bit more, you know, if like, say, well, we got Enfield, right, or Huyo, or the next Kuro game that just, it looks insane and it's coming from a well-known dev, maybe then. When it comes from, like, I don't know, Black Beacon or another game. Even Silver Palace. Look at Silver Palace, right? Game looks cracked. Game looks cracked. I'm not spending on that game right away. Well, we need to see if it's a smoke and mirrors first. Because, well, I'm going to tell myself I'm not spending on that game right away. Okay, I'm going to say that because it does look really good. But who knows what can happen? Who knows how the devs are going to run things? We don't know. We've not really had anything from them. Now, I know the company, the parent company, runs casual games in China. But we ain't seen shit from them, right? We ain't seen shit from them. So it's just, it's impossible to say what's going to happen, right? And you should be very wary about where you're spending your money. $100 Enfield first day, no question asked. I might spend a bit on, I might, yeah. Okay, all right. You got me with that one. Yeah, all right. I'm never going to argue with that one. Enfield day one, I might spend a little bit of money.